everybody. It's Tom Morley here. I'm a fiddler, a teacher, and the author of the book Learn to Play Irish Trad Fiddle. And I'm welcoming all you guys out there, those of you who just downloaded the latest issue of Ifiddle Magazine. If you've been following along, I've been giving a regular series of lessons, free video lessons here in the pages of Ifiddle on how to play Irish traditional music for the beginning fiddler. So that's kind of my specialty. I love finding great little melodies in all the different styles of Irish traditional music and teaching brand new fiddlers how to play. There are obviously all kinds of tunes in the Irish traditional music world, very tricky ones and very advanced ones, but I've learned that just about anybody can start out and learn to play a variety of great Irish fiddle tunes. So we're going to learn a new kind of tune today. In my previous lessons, I've taught a jig, which was the lilting banshee, and a reel, the red-haired boy, and a barn dance, Lucy Farr's barn dance. Today I'm real excited to teach one of my favorite styles of tunes, Irish polkas. Yes, that's right, an Irish polka. I guess you would mainly think of polkas. A lot of people think of the polka kind of tune as being from Eastern Europe, probably Germany, Poland, and you wouldn't be wrong about that. The polka style of tune and the polka dance step started out in the early 1800s in Bohemia, which is the area that we would now think of as the Czech Republic and Slovakia, and that style just took Europe by storm all throughout the 1800s. Everybody loved the sound of the tunes, and of course even classical composers of the time would write polkas for full orchestras, and big ball rooms would be full of people dancing polkas. So that is where they originated, but throughout the 1800s those style of tunes and the dance step made their way finally to Ireland even, and by the late 1800s it became popular in Ireland as well. But those crafty Irish traditional players, fiddlers, fluters, whistle players alike, they took the style and kind of made it their own and started writing Irish polkas with a distinct Irish sound to them. So even though it's a two-step and the folks at that point would still dance the same kind of polka that people were dancing all over Europe, they were hearing the Irish polkas. Well, you might hear in any given session, even to this day, the majority of tunes that get played are reels and jigs, but a great set of polkas really gets some musicians going, and I can tell you from my own experience right here at our own Irish session in Fairhope, Alabama at McSherry's Irish Pub, whenever we play a set of polkas, then the musicians really get excited, and the crowd, the audience, really seems to notice as well. They'll often start clapping along, and even if they haven't been paying attention for the past 20 or 30 minutes, suddenly we'll get a big round of applause after a set of polkas. So once you learn one, you just can't wait to learn the others. I think they're really popular because they have simple yet infectious melodies that really stick in your mind. You could almost imagine singing some kind of tune, some kind of song, and some words along to almost any polka. And it makes them easy and fun to learn as well. The tune we're going to learn today, this polka, is called We Won't Go Home Till Morning, and you heard me play it at the beginning of the video here. It's perfect for the beginning fiddler, although I want to say that even simple tunes are played by the finest fiddlers as well. So people like Kevin Burke, some of my big fiddling heroes, they love these simple melodies as well. The polka that we're going to learn fits perfectly within a D major scale. So that really makes it really easy for a beginning fiddler to learn. I think you've all played a D major scale before, but I'm going to play one for you right now, and you can follow along if you want. D major scale with two sharps, with an F sharp, high second finger on the D string, and C sharp, high second finger on the A string, one of the first scales I think everybody learns. That's the key that this tune is in, and while most tunes use more than 8 notes in a scale, this one uses just those 8. So once you've warmed up on that scale, whether you're learning the tune by the music or by ear as I play it here today, you've only got 8 notes to choose from to get it right. So that really makes it quite easy. Let's listen to the very first phrase of this tune. It goes right up the first part of a D scale. So it's got a little jaunty little melody in there, a dotted rhythm. Right up the D scale. And then once you get to the open A, you'll go from open to 3 fingers. So let's try that again. Really infectious little melody. Then the next little section goes back and forth between B and G and C sharp and A with what we call thirds. So you've got that's 1 to 3 and then 2 to open. So let's put that whole phrase together. All right, you're well on your way to playing it. As you practice it at home, make sure you make your high second finger on the A string nice and high and get a really nice C sharp. There's something about that fingering setup I've noticed with my own students that they often tend to play the C sharp a little low, a little sour, so you don't want that to happen. You don't want this. You want to get it nice and high. So after you play your third finger on the D string and you come back around, get that high second finger right tucked underneath. I like to call that kind of the cross your fingers way of playing. So you'll see that my second finger is directly under my third finger in that regard. So let's listen to those 4 measures again. Ready, play. Pretty simple. And then the next measures, guess what? Starts just like the first measures did. And it ends with a special little melody. You can almost imagine singing the name of the tune. We won't go home till morning. So let's put the whole first 8 measures together and let's let you try it. Ready, play. And again. Go home till morning. Mostly on the D string there. So there's the A section of the tune. Just like most fiddle tunes, polkas come in groups of 8 measures. And there's an A section and you repeat that twice. And then there's a B section and you'll repeat that twice as well. Polkas go by so quickly that you usually want to hook a couple of them together, and at the end of this video I'll tell you how you can learn a couple extra ones to go along with this one. So I'm going to play that first part one more time and then we'll learn the second part. Here we go. Ready, play. Little notes, you can see that I'm really using a tiny little bow. I'm having a lot of fun with my bow. I like to play the polkas in the upper half of my bow since the notes are pretty fast and furious when you get them up to speed, and that way you can really control little teeny amounts of bow and make them sound their best. If you get too far down here, the notes start sounding a little crunchy. So you don't want to get stuck down there at the frog end of the bow. You want to stay in the upper half of the bow. That's my favorite place. All right, so there's the first half of our polka today. Let's learn the second half. And it's going to play off the melody that you already played in this first half. So that's going to help you to learn the second half pretty quickly. Let's see how this second half goes. So you can hear the different parts that we've already learned. That's in there again. And how does the second part end? Just like the first part ended, we won't go home till morning. So the newest part is how the B section starts. It starts with all three fingers down on the A string. 3 to open. Let's do that one more time. And you got that same section like we had in the beginning. Then again. Then you know how to end it. So let's put the whole tune together. I'll play it slowly, and you can try it with me. For those of you looking at the music at home, before I do it, let me talk a little bit about the printed music. With each of my video lessons here at Ifiddle Magazine, of course you get the video of me teaching this lesson each time, but I've always included the printed music. I'm a classically trained violinist, for those of you who might be surprised by that sort of thing, who fell in love with fiddling, but I always like to see the music in the printed version as well as listening to it by ear. I often use kind of a combination of both of those skills that I've had all through my violin playing career to learn a tune. I might look at the printed music and start getting the idea, see what the key is, see where the notes go, whether they jump up high, low, etc. And then I listen to the tune by ear and put those thoughts together and learn a tune pretty quickly that way. It works good with my students too. You might be a beginning violinist who likes to look at the music very carefully and can't play by ear, or you might be just the opposite. You might be somebody who likes to play by ear and doesn't want to read the music at all. So between the printed music and my violin playing here in the video, I'm sure that helps anybody that I can think of. But let's look at that printed music for just a second. Polkas, when you download them or look at them in just about any book or online, are actually usually in 2/4 time. That means there's 2 beats in a measure and the quarter note gets the beat. So unlike a reel where you count to 4, 4/4 time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. A polka, you just count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's the common style, and it goes clear back to the way they were written out in Europe from the beginning of the 1800s. Because they're in 2/4 time, the melodies are written out in 1/8 notes and 16th notes. Dotted 8, 16ths, very few quarter notes, and that's how they keep that 8 measure format. Well, that's exactly correct, but it looks pretty intimidating actually on the page to a beginning violinist or fiddler or music reader, any of those people. So I kind of devised a trick where I take a polka in 2/4 time and I double all of it. I turn it into 4/4 time so that there's 4 beats in a measure, and quarter notes become half notes, 1/8 notes become quarter notes, and 16th notes become 1/8 notes. I hope that makes sense to you all. And when you read it, it sounds exactly correct. And of course you can just speed it up and you'll be playing it exactly how it sounds in 2/4 time. So in my book, Learn to Play Irish Trad Fiddle, I present the polkas first as simple tunes in 4/4 time, which almost anybody can read, and it makes them simple and more accessible to the new fiddler. By the end of the book, I also present them in 2/4 time with the busier looking counting. The tune sounds exactly the same no matter how you play it, but to satisfy all the people who might be out there watching this video or looking at the music in this issue of Ifiddle Magazine, I have put both of them on the printed page. So you will see the 4/4 version, which goes 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'll get that, and at the end of the page I have it the way you'll probably see it in any other book, or if you download polkas online, in 2/4 time, where you have to count 1 and a 2 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So see, it's the same melody, it's just how you want to present it on the page. So I hope you beginning fiddlers appreciate the easy reading music version of this polka. Well, let's play the whole tune a few times through, and if you can either read it off the page at this point or keep working on it and play it by ear. I'll play it through 3 whole times, and by that point you'll, I think most of you will have it, using my fiddle cam here, where you get to watch the fiddler's eye view and see my fingers. I think that can help every budding fiddle player a whole lot, and so I hope you enjoy learning this great Irish polka. We won't go home till morning. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, and... go. 3 times through, I picked up the speed a little bit so you could really hear the sound of a polka at the correct tempo. Once again, they just are so much fun to play, and I hope you start looking for a lot of polkas. I've got several in my books, Learn to Play Irish Trad Fiddle, and the tune we learned today actually came from my book, Fiddle Club Favorites. But there's just tons of wonderful polkas out there, and I hope you start playing a bunch of those. You beginning fiddlers will have a lot of fun with these tunes, particularly, I think. I'll tell you what, if you've watched my video all the way through to the end here and you enjoy these polkas, I would like to give any Ifiddle subscriber out there a couple free polkas. And all you have to do is email me at thefiddlecenter@gmail.com and tell me that you saw my video on Ifiddle Magazine and you learned how to play your Irish polka, and I will send you 2 more polkas, the printed music to 2 more polkas that you can learn and then hook together and make a massive, mighty set, as we like to say in an Irish session, of fun polkas to play. So hope to hear from some of you folks out there, and that's my 4th lesson on Irish traditional music. Watch for me in upcoming issues where we'll learn even more great Irish fiddle tunes. Thanks. See you next time.